Alright, so the central heating is knackered, so I've got a bit of a cold. So whatever the voice sounds like, it's what it sounds like, you know what I mean? So MAURICIO SULIMAN is saying, I'm not a snitch. I'm rolling with the thugs. So he met Daniel Kinahan in Dubai and he said he's not Interpol or the police or someone who has to be prejudiced. He said he went on a trip, had numerous meetings with a large number of people and groups. And he was very happy with what he saw with the promotions. I guess he's talking about the Sonny Edwards card, yeah? He said he's not a detective, he's not looking into people's lives. I just have to deal with what is out there and what is put in front of the WBC. There are many people in many sports and many aspects in life who have been in legal troubles. Boxing has never had a scandal of fixing fights. Really? Have you heard of Billy Fox and Jake LaMotta? Both Ali's fights with Sonny Liston came under investigation from the FBI, but in the criminal world. And he had links to the American Mafia, Carbo and them guys. And the Lee Omar Woodcock fight was supposedly fixed, allegedly. You think that was the only fight that was fixed? Solomon's was the top promoter. He owned a chain of betting shops. Come on, me old Marco Mauricio. What the fuck? You know nothing about the mob or the history of the sport? You need to do a little refresher course. Go talk to your daddy. He'll inform you. But Mauricio knows, you know, Tyson had the fucking lead pipes in his gloves and all that and fucked up Wilder. Just joking. Blah, blah, blah. I don't accept discrimination, abuse of power, abuse of character, and I believe he has a relationship with Tyson Fury, and he's our heavyweight champion, so I'm not one to discriminate or go against someone's character because of what somebody's saying. Don King was labelled as a criminal, and John Doe or any person who is a prejudice or is labelled X, Y, or Z. I do not pay attention to that, and I am sorry to be very blunt. We do great things for the sport. We do great things every day for the boxers. In almost 60 years, we have made tremendous changes. Okay. We get it, Mauricio. We get it. We get it. I don't see why people are making a big deal that they saw Mauricio Suliman with Kinahan. We know Kinahan advises Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is the WBC champion. Why are you making a big deal like you're some bright-eyed, naive kindergarteners? This is the real world. Look at them fucking deals that the WBC and the government are turning a blind eye to, that they're striking with Devin Haney just to get a shot to try and be an undisputed champion. Don't talk to me about no Kinahan, bruh. Brian McIntyre, aka BOMAC, has booted JAMEL Herring from out of the stable. So, Herring will be training with Manny Robles, at least for his next bout. Herring is not finished. Herring is not finished. He lost last time out to what looked like potentially a very, very good fighter in Shakur Stevenson. He's not finished. I wonder what's up with McIntyre. Maybe he just doesn't think Jamel's got anything to offer, or he just doesn't have the time with Terence Crawford, probably demanding a lot of his attention. He said stuff was going on behind his back that he didn't approve of. First time I found out through the media, I kind of let it slide by what he did. But the second time, instead of being a man and talking to McIntyre about it, he had to find out almost pretty much the same way. And that's forced the split between the two. He doesn't like the way he's going about his business, apparently. When asked if Herring's alliance with MTK was one example that led to the souring of their relationship, McIntyre acknowledged that it played a role. It's not clear if Herring is still under contract with MTK. I wonder if BOMAC is going to continue to train Amir Khan if Khan continues to fight. I wonder what MTK had to do with Herring and McIntyre splitting. Better yet, I'm wondering why the interviewer asked if MTK had something to do with it. That means they must have had the heads up on the story and they were probing for more details. Utterly fascinating. Watson. Joe Joyce reacts to footage leak of him and Anthony Joshua sparring. He's letting his ego go. I'd love to fight him. Joe obviously believes that Joshua edited his best moments in the sparring session and put it out there. And he really wants to fight Joshua now. Well, join the club. Join the club. Let's run it back. Miller time. Drugs cheat Jarrell Miller claims Alexander Usyk has an injury and calls out Anthony Joshua instead. He believes he could be in line to face the British icon 3 years after their world title fell through. Now, we know he's coming back from his drugs ban for the second time he's been banned for PED violations. And obviously he wants that bag. And Joshua's the one. They all want the bag. But, you know, people are going to say he had his shot and he blew it, testing for all them substances. But I'm not actually against the fight. I think people still would want to see it. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. The build-up with his mouth and his hatred for Joshua will make it very interesting. Now, I don't know how he's heard about this alleged injury that Usyk has. Maybe it's a rumour floating around the boxing world. Or he's just talking bullshit. The only thing with that fight, I don't think Alan Smith on Sky would want to put it on. I'm not sure if DAZN would want to put it on. Eddie Hearn, he's already voiced his disgust and his disapproval. Miller tried to suck up to him, but Eddie said he couldn't work with him, at least not for now. And Miller owes him a bag. Miller's got to go establish himself, man. Like, he's got to go establish himself. He's got to at least go maybe a couple of years without no positive tests. Fight the best opponents he can fight and put a run together. I think that's his only hope. Maybe someone else might give him a chance. Bob Arum gave him a chance last time out and he fucked that up. I wonder if he owes Bob a bag as well. Is he just a perpetual fuck up? His promoter, Demetrius Alita, he certainly wants it, but he would. You know what I mean? He's just on the periphery trying to get in a big situation like that. Frank Warren has revealed that 4 fights they were planning to make on the Fury White card have fallen through, but the full card will be announced this Monday. This is what he told IFL TV. Well, going by that statement, I don't see Anthony Yarde turning up on that bill, which is a shame. The only confirmed name I've heard that will be on the bill is Frank better mind that people don't start asking for refunds on them tickets. Rashidi Ellis, after a year and a half on the sidelines. Wow. Undefeated welterweight prospect Rashidi Ellis revealed on Instagram that he's joined forces with the PBC. It's official. Rashidi Ellis, a PBC fighter. We are ready for big fights. Now, Patrick Stoomberg, who writes for Bad Left Hook, was hoping that this ain't no April Fool's joke. Well, and I'm hoping it's not too. So, Ellis, 23-0, 14 KOs previously on GOLDENBOY, hasn't fought since the biggest win of his career, a decision over Alexis Rocha, who we saw piecing up old Blair Cobbs Flair with the hair just the other week. And it looks like they're talking about a protracted contract dispute with GOLDENBOY that kept him on the sidelines. Hopefully all that is resolved. He's 28 years of age. Well, they have a lot of welterweights at the PBC. Hopefully they don't keep him inactive. He has to be wary that they have a lot of inactive fighters over there, and he doesn't want to end up being one of them. So, unless he's signed already, he better get it in writing that you have an obligation to keep me busy if I'm not injured. Ben Shalom, he believes that Kell Brook versus Chris Eubank Jr. is getting closer, and he would like to see Amir Khan face Florian Marku. Ben Shalom was saying Khan has to prove himself after the no-show performance against Kell Brook last time out, and he's not going to get the bag like that. You're not going to get the bag like that, Amir, just based on reputation. Can Amir Khan get up to fight Florian Marku? Marku is fighting Chris Jenkins today, I believe, on the same card where Savannah Marshall is fighting. I see it like this. Amir Khan wanted Kell Brook to prove himself for the best part of 8-9 years before he fought him. What's the chance that he's going to let Ben Shalom use him as a stepping stone to build up Florian Marku? Nice try, Ben. But my prediction is Amir Khan doesn't go for it, unless you pull out a real big bag for him to take on Marku.
Morning to all out there. News. I am running in the next election for the Mayor of Manchester because these politicians are absolutely useless and I think I could do a better job. So Keep listening, keep your eyes peeled, and you'll see me very shortly up there in the elections in 2024. And I'm sure I can do a better job than the so-called politicians of today. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
So apparently he was trolling April Fools to anybody who bought that. I actually thought it was serious. I actually believe that John doesn't think the politicians are very competent. I think that's all true. And that's probably what made it convincing. If you do April Fools about something you actually believe, the easier it is to pull off. One of the things I like about boxing these days is watching someone like Sandor Martin take on someone like Mikey Garcia, someone who has somewhat of a reputation. Was he a 3-weight champion? Sandor handily outpoints Mikey, and all of a sudden, Spanish boxing is just positioning itself on the map a little. And I have no doubt there's a lot of you who probably tuned in to watch Sandor Martin, who might not have tuned in had he not upset Mikey Garcia. Sandor's opponent, Jose Felix, was nothing more than a journeyman. He had a bit of a right hand. He was tough. He was game. He was trying to set up that right hand all night, trying to use his footwork to catch Sandor out and sneak one in. It was a near shutout. Sandor dominated behind that southpaw stance. Very technically sound boxer. He's quick, has good reflexes. I like the way he angles his body to roll out and away from punches. Very technically sound fighter. Good to watch, not concussive, but good to watch. Good stamina. I like the way he was making his opponent miss and was making him pay for the misses. That's a lost art in the game. He tried to get the stoppage, but the guy hung him there. He scored at least 3 knockdowns that the referee just totally disregarded. And he won well. Good win against a journeyman. I think Spain, they got nice crowds there, partisan, they like their boxing. It's a good territory. Spain is a very good territory. Let's get that straight. And from what I saw there on DAZN, they can't get enough of Sandor Martin in Barcelona. They're going to find it hard to get the world-class names to travel to Spain to fight Sandor. It's too risky, isn't it? And what's Eddie going to be paying the visitors? I'd like to see him fight for one of them vacant belts if Josh Taylor is giving up the belts. I'd like him matched up with Jack Cattle. That'd be a interesting fight. A boxing match. But a good boxing match. I'd like to see that for one of the vacant belts. Sandor is 28 years of age. He has 40 wins, 13 inside the distance, 2 losses. One of them was to Anthony Yigit and another L to Alexander Lepelli. It's funny, they were both prospects, Lepelli and Yigis, and Lepelli fizzled out in 2016. He was 15 with 1 draw when he fought Sandor, but he fizzled out with 7 losses in 2016. Yigis, after that beating he took from Romero, I'm not sure if he comes back. So we've got to stress that losing your O is only as bad as you make it out to be. If you compare yourself to Mayweather and other fighters who value their worth as a fighter by their O, then it's going to be hard to get over. But Sandor is excelling right now. He's excelling. Look at that. He's had that European title since 2019. And this is his 3rd defense, and he's had a couple of non-title fights as well. So he should be in line for a world title shot at 140. He's ranked number 5 by the WBC, number 4 by the WBA, 13 by the IBF. Unfortunately, you can't even get a sandwich for the WBO, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, so ZHANG versus Filip HRGOVIC, a final eliminator for one of Alexander Usyk's titles, the IBF belt, will take place on the undercard of Canelo and BIVOL on May the 7th, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. ZHANG, the only contender out of many, I could put them all on blast, but I've did that before. At 33 years of age, he realizes he doesn't have time to mess about. HRGOVIC is 29. He hasn't got much time to mess about either. 12 knockouts in 14 wins for HRGOVIC, no losses, no draws. 18 knockouts in 23 wins for ZHANG, 1 draw. This promises to be an explosive heavyweight encounter. Both men around the 6'6" region. Big heavyweights, big punches. So Talk Sport showed these pictures of Canelo looking big. We know he's prepping for his WBA 175-pound title challenge against Dimitri Bivol. Now, previously, Canelo held the 175 IBF belt after defeating Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev did have a handicap. There was a secondary weigh-in on Saturday morning of the fight, and neither fighter could weigh above 185 pounds, or there would be severe financial penalties. Now, it's known that Kovalev has some bad habits in between fights, drinking whiskey and whatnot. He said he had to lose 35 pounds to fight Canelo. He normally walks around at 190, so trying to make 185 for the second day weigh-in must have been difficult. Now, I was wondering what weight Canelo would weigh in for that fight. I was thinking maybe low 70s, retain some of that middleweight, light middleweight speed, but no, he came in at 174.5. Kovalev came in at 175. Bivol, as recently as 2020, has spoke about moving down to 168 to fight the likes of Canelo, Callum Smith. So he's not a big light heavy by any means. Let's take away the technical aspect of who's the better boxer. In theory, yes, Canelo is going up to fight a bigger man, but Dimitri is not a big light heavy. So this will suit Canelo just nicely, even without a rehydration clause. Yes, Kovalev was weight drained, but Canelo looked comfortable at 174.5. He looked comfortable. In hindsight, it shouldn't have been a shocker because he was challenging MARKU for the cruiserweight title. Apparently Zerdo was going to fight MARKU. It shows it can be done. Zerdo started out at super middleweight and now he's challenging MARKU, or at least he's calling him out. I haven't heard about a rehydration clause for Canelo versus Bivol. They might sneak it in late. Bivol is 6 foot, has a 72-inch reach. Canelo is 5'8". So that's a considerable height differential, and he has a 70.5-inch reach. If Canelo does put a catch weight stipulation or a rehydration clause on this, he will be widely criticized. Like, some people gave him a pass for the rehydration clause against Kovalev. They reasoned that Kovalev is a big light heavy. Well, if that was the reasoning then, they can't use that for Bivol. He's not a big light heavy. Bivol must be aware of the optical illusion of this fight. If he's on the back foot, not being aggressive with the smaller man, even if he is outboxing Canelo, it might look like he's struggling. Why isn't he backing the smaller man up? And with a pro-Canelo crowd roaring him on, screaming at the top of their lungs at every punch, whether it connects or misses. And the judges perhaps on the take, I'm just going to come out blatantly and say what I've got to say. He needs to know he needs a knockout. And he has to factor in Canelo's reputation with scorecards. He's been fortunate on a few occasions with the scorecards. So he needs to go out there, push Canelo back, and make a statement. Just like Ugas needs to go out there, not let Spence be on the front foot. He needs to back Canelo up, the smaller man, and get him out of there. It's harder for Ugas because Spence is bigger than him. But this is what needs to be done in these championship fights. You got to do whatever it takes to get that W. Now, this is what you want to be hearing if you're a Bivol fan. Dimitri Bivol hurting sparring partners preparing for Canelo Alvarez. That's what Joel Diaz, his trainer, is saying. Let's go. Sky Sports tonight, Savannah Marshall is taking on FENKE HERMAS in a penultimate fight before taking on Clarissa Shields. Peter Fury insists there's no danger of Savannah being distracted by Clarissa, who will be ringside. They're saying here, Herman presents Marshall her toughest test. She's the current European middleweight champion and former world champion who took Shields 10 rounds in 2018. She looks a lot smaller than Savannah. Savannah can't afford to take her eye off the ball on this one, so she has to be fully focused, and then we'll get that big showdown later on this year, I assume. Florian Marku will be looking to impress Ben Shalom so Ben can beat the drum for Florian to take on Amir Khan. He takes on Chris Jenkins, former British champion, and, you know, Florian walked over there with a belt on his shoulder very arrogantly, got up in Chris's face. Chris kind of blew him a kiss and Florian pushed him. Security! They jumped in. So people are expecting fireworks. Jenkins is coming off that win over Julius Ndongo, where I was overly impressed. And Marku should keep his unbeaten record against Chris Jenkins. But you never know. I'm not sold on Marku. So what's that now? 3 weeklies in 3 or 4 days? Don't say I'll never give you none. Peace.